seeing that it's 7 o'clock, we'll open the meeting of December 12th, 2016. Just so everybody is aware in the audience that, as you can see, the meeting is being recorded and audio taped. Okay, let's start out with some quick business right here. We got some bills to fly around. If you could, please. What else do we have for mail? Do some quick mail. Did everybody get this? You get the letter from Deutsche Williams regarding the Scott Clausen versus the town of Halifax? Everybody get a copy of that?
Yes.
All right, good. Let's hold off on that. Sorry about that. Here it is. That's close. Those are all legal. We'll leave this later. How about minutes? Do we have minutes from October 17th, October 24th? We want to do them?
Left side folders?
In this one? Oh, over here.
Here you go. I think you have the original for October. They want you to receive those by email. Over
October 17th?
Yeah, sure. Big one.
Anybody have a chance to review this grammatically and all that? Wow.
There's a lot.
Wow. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes of October 17th? Does anyone have a chance to review them? If not, we can review them and we'll do it at our next meeting. We'll vote
Charlie is actually hoping to get them done as soon as possible. They've been requested.
from the 17th.
All of the first one, meeting minutes. 17th and 24th.
Is the 24th in here too?
No, she's still working on that.
Oh.
She just finished these on Friday.
I haven't read through all of these. I haven't personally. Has anyone else? Been
I haven't finished.
Yeah. Well, all right, seeing there's no motion to accept that, I think we should have a chance to review them all before we pass them, especially if in the event that we have legal matters coming up before us on that.
Maybe it's also the ones for the, I actually hadn't gotten those by email.
The November 14th ones?
That one I couldn't, I didn't get out by email, but I did finish them today.
You can take one of these, right?
What's that?
You can take these now. Yeah, I don't think he has it.
Yes. Well, again, I think we should, there's no motion to accept them and really read them over. We should take the time to do that, seeing the importance of them. All right. What else,
So they will be sent to the person rejecting the as a draft. We have to get them out within 10 days. So
Right.
we'll have to go with the draft.
So if we review them in the next couple of days?
Vote on
We
that
have
as
to
a
have,
board.
we have to have another meeting.
Is there a specific amount of time we have to do the minutes
We
on it?
have to have it done within 10 days. After request, we have to produce them within 10
Oh.
business days.
Can we do it tomorrow?
No,
No.
no. we'll do them at our next meeting. What else do we have? Bills, approval, and then new business, old business. Oh yes, there is a reminder here that we have a meeting tomorrow night. It's been pushed off from 9 until 9:15 with the Board of Selectmen. Hopefully we can make that, take as many members as we can. And we can discuss the second one, the attachment that reached out to Deutsch Williams for defense of Mudfest or let Bergstrom handle. I did speak with her. Kim Salant.
They had looked at the whole thing already, right? Because they gave us a whole thing prior to it.
Right. Yep. Yes, they did.
It should be pretty familiar.
Well, we really can't do the other one until 7:15. We can't really start. I don't know what else we have. Anything else we can
Do you
review?
want to do the letter from Irene Alden, petition number 787?
Yeah,
She's
we
not
could do
seeking
that.
renewal.
That's a good idea.
So then should have this in your website?
Should
To the zoning board of appeals dated November 15th, 2016. This is a letter in regards to Relish the Dog, the business on Carver Street. I will not be seeking to put on the agenda for January 9th for a special permit for petition number 787. Due to operating costs and recent family health issues, I've decided to close down the business. Thank you, Irene Alden.
Do we have any motions to not renew or anything like that?
I think it would just expire, right?
It's just going to expire, right? When does it come up for renewal?
January, I think?
Oh. Well, that's just putting us on notice that she's not going to renew it, so we'll leave it in effect until it expires in January, whatever. Unless anybody else wants to move on that, we just leave it alone.
Changes their mind.
What's that?
She changes her mind.
Yeah, she could too. Or at least leave the door open until then. Yeah. Upcoming hearings, seminars, and/or conferences. Do we have anything? Other matters? Nothing?
I don't.
Oh. I didn't know if there was something that was sent in the mail or whatever.
It's been crazy busy, so I may not have
I understand, not to worry.
triple duty.
All right, see, it's close to 7:15. We'll do petition number 858. Joseph Pogorski?
Pogorski.
Okay. 37 Carver Street, Halifax, Mass. Here, let me read this. The Halifax Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Monday, December 12th, 2016 at 7:15 in meeting room number 1 of the Town Hall, 499 Plymouth Street in Halifax, on the application by Joseph Pogorski as a determination that the applicant's, quote, business more appropriately falls into the category of home business / professional office or studio requiring a special permit to the property located at 37 Carver Street in Halifax, Mass. Says property is owned by Joseph B. Pogorski and Joseph M. Pogorski as shown on the Assessors Map number 71, Lot 17A. The applicant seeks a special permit in accordance with the zoning bylaws of the town of Halifax under the following: Section 167.3 definitions, specifically home business or professional office studio, page 167.7, and Section 167.7D, 11A through H, specific use regulations, home business or professional office studio conducted by a resident of the premises, page 167.26, and Section 167.7, summary of use regulation, pages 167.20, area zone residential, petition number 858. So, would you like to speak to your petition? What kind of business are we talking being run there?
I actually don't have a business out of the house. All I do is I basically store some commercial vehicles that I have. Me and my father both have separate businesses, and I drive a different commercial vehicle for work, depending on the activities of the day. I believe most of the issue that we've had was noise complaints, and that was using heavy equipment, which I own through my business, for rehabbing my property. So I have had heavy equipment there and will in the future. So redoing the yard area around there. So just having the ability to store that and use it going forward.
Okay, so is it just your business, or there are two businesses? One's yours, one's your father's?
There's my business and my son's there, but occasionally I will drive one of his trucks home if I'm going to a job the next day. But it's not anything that's used on the property, or nothing is created on the property or anything like that.
What is the name of your business?
Underhill Incorporated,
I'm sorry?
Underhill Inc.,
And what's the name of the other business?
Piberski Welding.
Okay, now, do both those businesses use the address as the business address?
Neither do, sir.
Neither do.
Yes, there's
So-
no mailing address or office work or anything is done at the house,
Where is it then?
at our shop in Canton. Our
Okay.
office in Canton.
Both of you have the same
Yes.
shop in Canton?
Yes, where I
Okay.
do, paperwork and stuff like that.
Okay, and what was the decision from the building inspector? What did he say?
To have a special permit, to be able to have the commercial vehicles there, and that they would have to be out of sight from the street. Lettered vehicles out of sight from the street.
How many vehicles are we talking now?
3.
3. And how
Three
many
vehicles
talking
and-
for your father's?
None unless I drive one home. It'd be one if I was to drive it home, and then it would go back to the shop the next day.
Okay, now, where they are parked, are they visible from the street?
Now, I put bushes, and I've actually been in the process of building a doghouse also that blocks them in the back right corner of the property, facing from the street.
Okay.
Is,
Did, put
pictures.
pictures in there?
Where is this on Tower Street? I'm familiar with 40 Tower Street, so you must be across the street.
40 is,
Mr. Smith?
yes, directly across the street. My driver's actually almost in there.
I can't picture, but I just want a general.
Yeah, it's directly across the street.
How big are the vehicles that you're taking?
They're all, would be a 1-ton truck or smaller.
You're gonna go with a big front end loader on the other side? Is that yours?
Yes, the loader's there for, I was digging out stumps and redoing the driveway. That's, that just left. I'm gonna have to bring something back in the spring just to remove the pile of stumps that I have, but that's all we got before.
So the, sorry, to interrupt.
Sure, no, go right ahead.
So, I think the reason that you're here, which I'm struggling to try and find the reason for, like you presented, but I think the reason that you're here reading the building commissioner's letter is that he got a questionnaire or something that you filled out? You filled out a questionnaire?
Yes.
So, something on the questionnaire made him feel as though it met one of these two things. Did he mention to you what it was that he thought connected with that?
I believe he said just having the commercial vehicles there would make it, he was saying the at-home business special permit, as long as it wasn't visible from the road, so.
All right, in the file, there is a letter dated September 13th, 2016, from Bob Picarelli, the building inspector, zoning enforcement agent. Dear Mr. Poderski, my office recently received a zoning questionnaire completed by you to determine your business classification as it relates to zoning. There are 2 categories of zoning classification your property could fall into based on a residence as the primary use is described below. First one is a customary home occupation as outcalled in the code of the town of Halifax, amended 6/23/1997, STM 4 5/11/1998, ATM Article 59. Customary home occupations conducted, used by a resident of the premises, permitted as a right in the AR, agricultural, residential, business, industrial, and commercial districts with the following restrictions. There may be no employees other than the residents of the premises. B, no more than 25% of the total floor area not to exceed 400 square feet may be dedicated to this use. There may be no equipment or product displays visible from the street. D, there may be no increased traffic, truck deliveries, or pickups to the premises. E, there may be no deleterious effects on the neighborhood in terms of noise, vibration, glare, fumes, electrical disturbances, or other emissions. F, there may be no signs for the business. G, there may be no evidence from the exterior of the premises that there is a business being conducted within. Number 2 is the home business, professional office, or studio, as called out in the Code of the Town of Halifax, added 5/11/1998, ATM Article 60. Home business / professional office or studio conducted by the resident on the premises, permitted as a right in the business and industrial districts by a special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals in the AR and the C districts with the following restrictions. There may be no more than one employee other than the resident of the premises. No more than 25% of the floor area not to exceed 400 square feet may be dedicated to this use. There may be no equipment or product display visible from the street. There may be no increase in automobile or truck traffic beyond the normal expected in a residential neighborhood. E, there may be no deleterious effects on the neighborhood in terms of noise, vibration, glare, fumes, electrical disturbances, or other emissions. F, there may be one small sign allowed by 167-13. Upon review and observation, I've determined that your business more appropriately falls into the category of home business / professional office or studio requiring a special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals. I would like to meet with you to discuss this matter further and answer any questions you may have. Please contact this office to arrange a mutual agreeable time. Thank you, Rob Piccarelli, Building Inspector, Zoning Enforcement. If you wish to appeal the building inspector's decision, you may do so by 1, filing an appeal to the Zoning Board of Appeals within 30 days of that decision, or 2, apply for a variance and/or special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals. Applications are available from the Regulatory Board Secretary or the Town Clerk's office. So, after receipt of this, did you have a meeting with Mr. Piccarelli?
Yes.
Okay, and what was discussed then? That basically you needed a special permit?
Yes, special permit for having commercial vehicles on the property until they would not be able to be visible from the street. So since then I have, clean areas in the back of the property. I have everything organized and it would not be visible. And he believed that the complaints that created this matter were from me doing actual renovation work to the property, which is not running a business, or there's no business activity there besides the storage of vehicles and them leaving.
You're just prepping your property to meet
Yeah, I mean,
the requirements?
the property needed massive renovations when I bought it a year ago. So we've been working on that, and that's basically what I've been.
That's your own personal.
Yes, but, the business equipment was used and is used to do it.
What was it, would you say, a payloader?
Halo.
And that's no longer there, but you have to have something come in there
Yes,
to do what?
to remove a large pile of stumps that they're very visible. from
Oh, the ones that
street.
are in the pictures? Oh, this
Yes.
one right here?
Yes. That'll be removed in the spring.
Oh, what else was discussed with Mr. Piccarelli?
Just trying to be, whatever I was doing in the yard, as far as noise, whatever, being courteous to times, as far as early in the morning or late at night.
What would your normal business hours be then, or hours of operation?
He told me not to make noise probably past 6 o'clock, but 7 o'clock would be fair for anybody involved in the neighborhood.
All right, did he go through these requirements with you?
Yes.
A through F? Anybody on the board like to go through and see, make sure that, or at least get answers to the A through F? First one being there may be no more than one employee other than the resident of the premises. Is there any more than one employee other than yourself? No more than 25% of the floor area not to exceed 400 square feet may be dedicated to this use.
There's none.
So there's none. You said there's no office, there's no other than parking the equipment.
Apply for this.
What's that?
Is there business going on inside the house?
No.
There's
There is
business
no
registered
business,
to
you're
my
just
house.
bringing the trucks home.
Say it?
They're just bringing the trucks home.
Yeah. This is what I'm wondering.
There's no business running on the property.
See, so the
There's no
two
deliveries
businesses you
received.
mentioned, there's not stuff, you're not like doing paperwork or bringing people to the house to meet with them or anything like that? That's why,
That's kind
I mean, we can
of,
give him special permit, I don't
He was
think it's a
doing- he
huge
was
deal,
doing
but he was
the-
parking a truck in his driveway.
he was fixing the site up to park his trucks out back. And now the building inspector needed a special permit. for
I believe it's all
in-home
stemmed from
occupation.
noise complaints.
So
for
there's
doing
no
that.
business being run on that property at all.
No,
You're just bringing the trucks from Canton to park them at your house
yes,
and leaving them in the morning.
yes.
They're not 18-wheelers, 10-wheelers,
No,
tractor
No, I
trailers.
don't have anything. That's us.
I mean, he had a payload.
Yeah, U-50 truck, that small dump truck. that, you know.
Nothing bigger than 1 ton, you said?
Basically, you were landscaping your property.
Yes, I did. Yes.
You removed all those stumps?
Yes, we cut down like 20 trees, removed stumps, made the whole front yard bigger, redid the driveway, we were going, yeah, extensively.
But as far as I can determine, you would have made the same amount of noise and disturbance whether it was business or
Yes.
Non-business.
personal,
Yeah,
you know, it's,
he worked at.
He was doing his own house.
right.
There was no need for any permits, lugging gravel or loam or anything, you didn't need, there was nothing
I
like that, it was just general
just to
landscaping.
do the lawns.
And you said, see here, there may be no equipment or product, displays visible from the street. You showed pictures of
The
the
equipment is
arborvitae
there
and whatnot
on
out
the property, and those pictures were taken from the street.
there. What's with the doghouse? You mentioned something about a dog.
It's massive, and it's about the size of a truck, so it helps block the truck parked behind it.
How many dogs?
Come on.
He's got his own house.
I went a little bit over on the doghouse. It's-
There may be no increase in automobile or truck traffic beyond the normal expected in a residential neighborhood. So you bringing a truck home, you're
I
gonna.
mean, I do have a couple people come to my house at night, but they're just
Friends.
friends that come over, and they might drive trucks too, because everyone I
but
know
there's
works in
nothing to do with
construction.
the business.
Yes,
All right, either no deleterious effects on the neighborhood in terms of noise, vibration, glare, fumes, electrical disturbance, or other emissions. Mr. Picarelli said that there were a couple of complaints
yes,
regarding just the noise or what?
yes, I believe you just said those,
While you were doing the excavate on the site.
yes. I know one of the complaints was after, I actually got the complaint on Monday, and that weekend, I was doing some loom work in the front yard. It was summertime till probably 7:30 at night with a skid steer. And I told him that. And that's when he said to, make it earlier.
So why would he need a special permit?
On the questionnaire, I don't even know what the questionnaire is, to be honest, but was there a question saying, hey, do you conduct any business at your home? Maybe you checked it off or something? Maybe that's what he's basing this on? Because the restrictions are for a home business or an office or a studio that you have in your house. That's what the
And
restrictions
he
are.
said it would possibly fall under that just because I had, commercial vehicles there and.
Who brought up the questionnaire? Building inspector?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Applicant check was complete, returned to the zoning board of appeals.
You have nobody answering the phone at your house.
I don't even have a phone.
He doesn't have
I don't have a phone.
Damn, that's a blessing.
I don't need for those.
Any other questions from members of the board?
This is,
It doesn't fall under
this
the
is,
special
yeah,
Well,
this is the way it's said.
the only other thing I see here, if the building inspector believes it requires a special permit, upon review and observation, he's determined that the business more appropriately falls into the category of home business, professional office, or studio requiring a special permit from the zoning board of appeals. So he's determined that a special permit is needed. So, and they've applied for a special permit. Any other questions from members of the board? Do you need to add anything yourself?
No, sir, it's just,
We repair heavy equipment all hours of the night and day, we do road service on heavy equipment. So if a welding truck's seen at that 37 Carver Street, it belongs to me. Usually they're garaged in Canton, but if we do a lot of work in Plymouth, so it's a lot easier for him to come to Plymouth and drop right to his house
Okay.
with a service truck and drive all the way back to Canton. It's another 24 miles to go back to Plymouth.
Is the service 24 hours type thing, or just during the day?
99% during the day.
Yeah, 99% of it's during the day.
Once in a while.
6 years, but I went out in the middle of the night and did something.
Okay. Anybody else have any more questions? I'll take questions, okay, guys, have a seat, please. I'll take, questions or comments from any of the abutters, any of the abutters here from Carver Street that wanna add.
We just can't, we
You,
just
could you just state your
basically
name and your address, please?
We just wanted to know what was going on over there, because,
And your name, please?
Linda Parent, 54 Carver Street.
Okay.
I mean, I've noticed that it's noisy like 11 o'clock at night, but I didn't complain.
That was in the
Right,
summer,
that was in the summer, so,
but it wasn't us that complained.
right, I didn't complain, so. I heard noise and I said, they're doing something, fixing up their house or whatever, because there was other people that lived there, you know what I mean? And then I don't know what happened to them, they must have passed away or whatever, and they took it over.
How long have you lived there?
Year and a half.
Okay,
Mm,
all right.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any more comments, questions, anything? What's the pleasure of the board? Oh, I'm sorry, yes, sir.
How you doing? Jonathan Sirocco, 31 Carver Street, direct abutter. I mean, noise has been a definite problem at some points in time, sometimes late at night.
How late, sir?
I mean, once again, like 11 o'clock or so, sometimes. You know, sometimes early. I mean, I get up early in the morning too. I have to drive all the way to Quincy, but, you know, I hear diesel trucks running for you know, at least 30 minutes or so, usually in the morning. Sometimes on the weekend also, for long periods of time. You know, fumes have been a problem at some points in time due to the wind. Get the fumes of diesel, and sometimes it can be a little nauseating and at least go outside that.
Is that while they were doing the work on the property, or just in general from the truck?
Sometimes with the excavator, sometimes with the front end loader and such. But you know, sometimes I don't know exactly what could be running, but when I basically can hear inside the house a diesel truck. That's the best I can at least describe it. Diesel truck running for long periods of time. And to me, myself, being pretty close to the, you know, my house and our property lines are pretty close to one another, especially the driveway. So I only could imagine if any one of you on the board had a commercial vehicle that runs diesel running constantly, especially my bedroom window being right there, it gets very, you know, annoying at times, you know. Especially also in the 167.7 of the bylaws, it does state one commercial lettered truck for a special permit. Now, also speaking to that, there's, like I said, there's two companies parking their equipment there in multiple lettered trucks.
How many?
I mean, at one time, like I said, the welding truck, a trailer, the landscaping trailer, and then also a pickup truck.
Bigger than the 1 ton, or just the 1 ton truck?
No, just regular F1, F350s or so. I don't know the exact, I never wanted to.
Okay, anybody else? Yes, sir, your name, please?
Yeah, Frank Federico, 22 Carver Street. I just, you know, have concern, you know, I have heard the noise. I'm not as close as him, but I have heard the noise. Again, it's not as obnoxious. I don't live directly in, but I have heard it late at night a lot. And I just worry about, you know, the aesthetics for the neighborhood. You know, there's an abandoned, looks like an abandoned house, and the trucks, you know, it looks, instead of a neighborhood there, it looks just more like a heavy business and all. And it's just, you know, it's just adding more and more to it, that's all. You know.
This is a ghost street.
Yeah.
It
There's
really
a lot
is.
of abandoned,
I'm telling you, it is. And
You
then
know,
across the street from it.
Braddock's house, the
Mhm.
two houses, and
It's like,
it's kind of
it's terrible.
creepy at night because there's a lot of property and they're both basically abandoned.
We got a fox living in Sam's,
Not a fox, a coyote.
oh, coyote living in Sam's garage.
Anybody else have any other questions? Or- Yes, Jerry?
Are the vehicles, you can see the vehicles from the street? Are they parked right out front or?
Well, they're growing the arborvitaes
Yeah.
in the front, but still able to see on just a visible drive by, you can see it. Especially with now the vehicles parked back and then the storage container in the back of the yard as well.
And are the vehicles running early in the morning? It's like before they go to work, someone goes out, starts their vehicle.
Yeah.
Like-
I understand though diesel takes, 10, 15, sometimes 10 minutes or so to actually start up and running, especially in the winter months. But, it sometimes running at hours or an hour. I recorded one time on my phone and it's been sometimes over an hour just hearing diesel equipment running on an idle speed. So, to answer your first question though, it's visible from the street. Maybe not in 5 to 10 years when the arborvitaes have grown and filled out a little bit more, but at this point in time, it's still visible.
Anybody else have any more questions?
Can I just?
Your name again, please? I'm sorry.
Aldine McGee, I'm 50 Carver Street. Bringing up this about parking the commercial vehicles, is there, I didn't know that there was a law, like I know in Milton, people in residential areas cannot park a commercial vehicle. If they have a sign on their vehicle, they have to either cover it or
Right, we
whatever.
read that as part of the
But-
bylaws.
Yeah, I didn't know that, and I just found out my daughter's boyfriend had stayed at my house when I was away, and he has a great big box
Well, there's a
truck.
difference between a temporary parking situation and,
Yeah.
and having it there from
Okay, I
business,
just didn't know that
advertising
there
a
was
business
any,
up front. Oh.
No,
like,
that's
rules
fine.
there about that.
Anybody else have any more questions, comments?
They have to tell me, it's fine.
I mean, their business, they're just driving those trucks home. That's the only way of going back and forth to work. They're using those trucks to go in the morning to the job site. They're just driving them home. What's the difference with having a regular car? It's the same thing.
Well, if they have a separate car and they're parking the truck for the company there, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, but if they're taking that truck to the job site the next morning,
Yeah, they're still parking a commercial truck, that's part of their business and they're,
But they're not-
and it's,
These trucks, your
They're not
what's
primary
that, well, the
transportation?
issue is that,
Are
well,
these trucks your primary
I think
transportation?
that's what
Yes,
disconnection
personally,
is,
no
that's what I think.
Need for 'em.
Well, the way I see it then is we have a choice. We could issue a special permit as recommended by the building inspector, and we could, with stipulations as to number, visibility, the arborvitae to be increased to protect it from the visible from the street, and even restrict idle time of the diesel trucks if again, the building inspector had received complaints about that. I don't know why, I agree with, with the sire that, yes, it is basically transportation back and forth to work. That's why I think the number of trucks is important, and if it's, like they said, an occasional, the next morning, you're gonna head south, why go north to pick up the truck to head south? That only makes sense. To the point of, as long as it's not being taken advantage of and being detrimental to the character of the neighborhood. It is a residential.
Issuing a special permit will protect them from.
Right, and restrictions on it would protect the neighbors too, which I don't think is unreasonable.
I agree with you, and I think that's probably the right thing to do here. There's also noise, pretty strict noise
Yep.
stuff in the bylaws already.
Right.
about stuff like that, regardless of what truck it is or.
Right, I think a couple hours of diesel truck idling for a couple hours is unnecessary. Or at least in a residential area, you know.
And what about them working on the trucks at night? I don't think that there should be a time limit. when
You don't
they sit
work on the trucks
clock.
there, right?
I thought sometimes they did welding and stuff, they said that.
No, they bring the welding truck
They
home.
bring the welding truck home.
And they take it
The
out the
mobile
next
truck
day.
goes to a job site.
Repairs done?
No.
Okay. I thought he said they were doing repairs.
Yes, sir.
Rob, I have a question. So, their work, basically, it sounds like their main hub is Canton. And these, let's not lose the focus of work truck, because their work is in that truck. So they bring the work truck onto their property, regardless if it's in a house or on a property, they still do work out of that truck. So they're using the, basically be a second location to go from Canton to Plymouth, from Halifax to Plymouth. They're using their mobile workstation to go to this other unit versus their telephone answering unit in Canton. So we can't lose focus of the fact that a mobile workstation is still parked on their premises.
That's correct.
So,
But I think the use is important also.
Correct.
I think if it's the use, whether it's a commercial vehicle or a personal vehicle, if it's used for transportation, and just that, the transportation, as opposed to doing work on the property.
They're not doing work on that.
They're not
property.
working, there's not being a business conducted on property, there's no work being done on the property other than getting into the truck in the morning and going to the job site. It's transportation. And that's the way I look at it.
It is a mobile, hub.
Like you said.
It's movable. They're bringing it home and they're taking it to the job site. They're not doing any work on Carver Street.
That was a restriction in there.
Are they doing welding on Carver Street? I mean, have you seen them doing welding? I mean, that the payloader, they brought it in to fix the property, and they moved it out.
in the Bobcat,
And the Bobcat, they moved it into, when you're doing the landscaping for somebody, you bring in a Bobcat, you do the job, then you leave.
You have no use for a Bobcat or a payloader for your business, right?
I use them for my business on job sites. And when
Oh.
if I don't need it on a job site, I can bring it to my house and continue to work in my house. The reason why the work at the yard has been slow is because I work a lot. So I'm not home very often to do things in my yard at times that would be allowed.
Right, but the work that you're doing with the Bobcat and the stumps and whatnot, that's gonna be concluded at some point
Yes.
in the near future. I mean,
Yes.
once the stumps are
Yes.
removed and the landscaping's done and the arborvitae and everything is all
Yes.
put in and done,
There's no need,
then there's no need.
there's nothing to do with it, no.
Right,
No.
that's, I guess my question was
Yes.
vague.
And we do not do any of the welding work that we do is all heavy equipment repair. And it is extremely loud. It's not something that would ever be done now. I mean,
So the work that you do at job sites, is that similar to the work that you're doing at your house?
no.
But you use the same equipment?
There's just two separate things. The welding work that I do,
Yeah, you said two separate.
we would be rebuilding an asphalt plant or a concrete plant or working on
Yeah.
a piece of mining equipment. It is not
Yeah.
something that
You do it your
would
house.
fit on my property, no.
Yeah.
I also do landscaping work, yes.
Okay, so, and I think that's what the connection is.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And like you said, once the work in the yard is concluded, then, yeah, that's it. There's nothing else that you do with a loader at your house, really.
Well, normally, it's the practice of the board, we do a site inspection. Do we have a motion, or do we want to set a date? People want to go take a look at this? How do you want to do this? The pleasure of the board.
Make a motion to waive the onsite.
Second.
I have a motion to waive the on-site and seconded. Voting on this will be Saya, Peter, myself, Bob, and Jerry. Okay? Saya? Peter?
Yeah.
I vote yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, it's been approved and seconded and approved that we waive the on-site inspection. All right, I will accept a motion regarding petition number 858.
I'll make a motion to accept petition 858 as a special permit with certain conditions, as long as everybody's all right with that, and as long as you guys are all right with that. To limit the number of trucks to 2 trucks, I think is what's been there before, right?
2 trucks or 3 trucks?
3.
Because it's mostly 2, but occasionally there's the 3rd one.
Okay, well, we
I
can do
think we should identify what they are as well. What
3
the
of
trucks
your,
are.
yeah, I mean, they're lettered
Backward,
trucks. from-
Bobcat, Welder, what are they?
Well, you're not parking the Bobcat there all the time, right? It's the
No,
the trucks
it's
for the
on
welding
vehicle.
company, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Just-
so, and are they large trucks, I guess, is the question?
1 ton.
Okay, so,
F-350s.
Yes.
so 3 pickup trucks, as long as they're not visible from the road according to the restrictions on the home office or professional studio. And meeting the requirements of the noise, and that there shouldn't be an increase of traffic or automobile.
What about the idle time
Stuff.
on the
And
diesel?
to limit, not only just, and the 2 key things that are important are limiting idle time to a certain period of the day, which I think is maybe 8 o'clock to 7 p.m. I don't know if that's something everybody can do. Is that
Are
something
you,
you can do?
are you
It's
up?
not really feasible. I'm usually at work between 6 and 7.
And now we're kind of going through the motions, so I get confusing.
How long do you generally let them idle for?
15 minutes is fine. 10, 15 minutes. And I can.
To be honest, I don't know if the noise bylaw of the town is much past that. I don't think.
Okay, that's fine. That's not a problem.
I gotta look at it, but.
15 minutes, okay?
Yeah, 15 minutes of
Reasonable
idle
longer,
time
yeah.
from, I don't know, sun up to sundown? I don't know if we wanna do that.
What if they leave the job site at 5 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, he's gotta be someplace
Yeah.
by 6 or 7
I
o'clock.
mean, he-
But I mean like the Bobcat stuff and all that.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, that's
Yeah,
not used in the
I mean,
morning.
you can
No,
drive
no,
a
no.
truck, obviously, that's,
Yeah, no,
I
no,
think
no,
that
no,
can
no,
be
no.
limited here.
There'll be none of that. No. Nothing with equipment.
yeah, so have the equipment between sun up and sundown and idle time of the trucks for 15 minutes. That's all right?
In a maximum of 3 trucks, you said, or 2 trucks?
Maximum of 3 trucks,
So, and
3 pickup
they
trucks.
said that the Bobcat and the trailer isn't normally stored on the property, it's,
No, the Bobcat's there. It was just there because I was doing work to the property. It's not there now.
Sorry, okay.
Trucks, what if somebody shows up, has another truck?
well, it's their business.
3 pickup trucks related to the business.
They do not have pickup bodies on it, there's a couple flatbeds and one's a dump trucks, all dump trucks.
Three trucks
Equal
related.
size to a 1-ton.
3 trucks related to the business.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
Not to exceed 1 ton,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
so that would eliminate 18-wheelers and.
Yeah, we don't have any.
No heavy duty, right. Anybody else want to add anything or anything like that? Yes, no? No, we put restrictions on this that has to be agreeable to you. If it's not agreeable, you don't think you can live with them, you can withdraw your application. But those are the restrictions that the board has decided to put on, so you have to be, accepting to it.
Yes,
Is that okay?
yes.
All right.
Time limit,
For-
permit, year, 2 years.
Yeah,
For a year?
yeah, maybe come back within 1 year from now to renew the permit.
I don't think that's unreasonable. We'll see how it
Yeah.
works and see how,
Yeah.
and then if there's any other feedback or complaints in the neighborhood to the building inspector, then we can address them. I think 1 year is that,
I guess 1 year would be
Yeah.
good, that way you'd have a chance to see what's going on here.
and the permit would be from, to run for 1 year, the special permit. All right, we'll take a voice vote. Decide. Oh, yeah, has there been a second?
Second.
So there's a motion and second to accept petition number 858 with those restrictions. Kasia,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
myself, yes. Dan, what do you think? Your opinion?
Oh, I think it's a good compromise.
Okay. Passes 5-0 to 0. Do you know how all that works with the special permit about, do you have a thing from her that she reads out?
20 days.
Yes, it has to go down, have it stamped at the town clerk's office. There's a 20-day waiting period, appeal period. You bring it down to the registry of deeds, you file it. You go down to the town clerk, she'll explain all the dates and
Okay.
all that stuff. We're all good.
Thank you.
Thank you for your input.
So I just go to the town clerk this week and.
Yes.
Well, the
Yeah.
letter's gotta go down and it may take a few days before we can get that.
Okay.
I've done a few jobs right now. You have
Okay,
that?
not a problem.
We have 10 days to
So
get the
right,
letter.
I'll call the town clerk's office and ask them
Okay.
when it would be available. That's probably the.
28 period of, you can.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, what's our next one?
Yeah, that went a little long.
8:36.
Moving on, little doggy.
Okay, the Halifax Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Monday, December 12th, 2016 at 7:30 in meeting number 1 of the Town Hall, 499 Plymouth Street in Halifax, on the renewal application by Ralph Smith to continue the following, as stated in the original public hearing back on November 9th, 2015. Owners request permission to sell mulch, loom, and other landscaping supplies. There are no sales made to the public on site. Orders are taken verbally via phone and deliveries are made from the property located at 40 Carver Street, Halifax, Mass. Said property is owned by Ralph and Mabel Smith, as shown on the assessors map number 71, lot 23. The applicant seeks a renewal of a special permit under commercial use for open-air business / outside sales in accordance with the zoning bylaws of the town of Halifax under section 167.7, schedule on zoning uses, pages 167, 25, and 29. Area is zoned commercial and residential, petition number 836. Mr. Smith, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Very well, thank you. We're up for renewal already, boy, that was quick.
Didn't take long, did it?
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Would you like to speak to your petition? Anything changes, any sizes, dimension?
No, it was the same as it was.
Everything's the same as it was?
Yep.
Everything is, with the other conditions that were submitted, have all been completed
Fences
and up to date?
Stone the driveway, all yard. Put the bends up,
Yep.
fence
Bushes,
up,
tree, fence, that's what it was, instead of the arborvitae. That's all up and good and
Yeah.
running?
went up there right after we talked to you guys last time.
Okay. Anybody from the board have any questions on Mr. and Mrs. Smith here? How about from the abutters or any from the audience?
No, our only concern is the on-site delivery, which we know there's been a couple of those.
The on-site, which we know,
Yeah,
what, I have no idea what you're talking
Sales from the site, from the place, like a pickup truck comes in and gets loaded up and goes out.
Right,
And Aldine McGee. It's not often, but it does happen.
So it's a friend of mine, I
Yeah.
should be able to give him some mulch if I want.
alright. Anybody else in the neighborhood that, or abutters that want to
Well,
make statements or anything?
it's what, is this
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, oh,
Yes, sir.
well, I live
Your
a
name,
couple,
please?
I'm sorry, Frank Federico, I'm 2 doors down.
What number?
22. Oh, I'm sorry, 22 Carver Street. And I don't hear any noise. I've never had a problem with them. They do operations just during the day. I've never heard anything at night or anything. I've never had a problem at all.
Good with you too?
Yeah, Jonathan Soroka, 31 Carver Street, just a model of what a business should be run on the street. Absolutely beautiful from the street view. Yes, you see mulch piles, but I mean, they're just, when I bought the house, I knew it was there.
Mhm.
You know, respectful guy, respectful business, respected his neighbor by putting up a fence, so we dealt with the situation. Great.
I double that.
Alright, anybody else? Or anybody, members from the board? Do we need, I'll accept a motion if for petition number 836 for renewal.
Make a motion to accept 836 for renewal.
Do I have a second?
You wanna stick with the 1 year or?
Number 2.
He's got 3.
I'd probably recommend the 3. You know,
3
that
years.
way,
3 years.
okay, so we'll extend from a 1 year to a 3 year? Or, what's that? Is that okay with you?
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
They're gonna, instead of a 1 year, permit renewal, we're gonna extend it to a 3 year.
Works for me. Works for me, it's less paperwork.
Okay, so regarding petition number 836, the only restriction or condition would be it'd be a 3-year permit instead of the 1. Again, voting on this, I'll take a voice vote. Saya?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Your opinion, sir? Yes, and I vote yes. 5 to 0 to 0. Again, you know the drill. How it has to go downstairs, see the town clerk, 20 days, wait,
Yeah.
and life
Thank
is
you very
good.
much.
You're welcome. Can you pass that around the other side and sign that?
Yes, I do. That's more like it.
Next.
Good night.
All right, we'll see you later.
Parish is busy this month.
Yeah, but just like you said, 3 years makes sense, especially with the neighbors all happy. What a nice night last night. Yeah, that was great.
I was so pleased with how many people came.
Yeah, great turnout. All right, let's move on. 45, petition number 847. R&J LLC, Halifax Country Club LLC, land off Plymouth Street in Halifax. 847. A petition to withdraw without prejudice. Addressed to Mr. Robert Gaynor, Chairman, Zoning Board of Appeals, Halifax Town Hall, 499 Plymouth Street in Halifax, regarding petition 847. R&J LLC and the Halifax Country Club LLC. Dear Mr. Gaynor, please consider this letter of request by the applicant to withdraw without prejudice the application now pending before the Zoning Board of Appeals. Thank you, respectfully submitted. Edward J. Brennan Jr. Petition number, please consider this to withdraw. I'll accept a motion to accept the withdrawal without prejudice of petition number 847.
Motion to accept the withdrawal without prejudice for petition 847.
And do I have a second? It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes to accept 5 to 0 to 0.
That's a winner. Is that what it is? Is that this one? Ah, that's even worse. What's
Is Mr. Walsh here? Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Please sign the sheet if anyone, if you haven't seen it yet.
No, I haven't.
This is a renewal, though, right?
Is it?
Oh, renewal. Oh, okay, that was renewal. This is 8:59. Give you the bag too. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right, seeing it's close to 8 o'clock. Mr. Wolf, come on in, have a seat. The Halifax Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Monday, December 12, 2016 at 8 p.m. in meeting room number 1 of the Town Hall, 499 Plymouth Street, Halifax, Mass. On the application by John Walsh and Rennell Walsh to acquire a special permit for an in-law apartment at 105 Wood Street, Halifax, Mass. Said property is owned by John Walsh and Rennell Walsh, as shown on Assessors Map number 130, Lot 3. The applicant seeks a special permit for an in-law apartment in accordance with the zoning bylaws of the town of Halifax under section 167.7C, summary of use regulation, page 167.20, and sections 167.7D, 12, specific use regulation, page 167.27, area is zone residential, petition number 859. There's a couple letters here I'd like to read in. This is from the Office of the Building Inspector, 499 Plymouth Street in Halifax. Rennell Walsh and John Walsh, owners of record, 105 Wood Street, Halifax, dated October 6th, 2016. It's been brought to the attention of this office that a possible in-law apartment is in use located at 105 Wood Street, for which we have no record of a special permit. Such permit is required according to the zoning bylaws, chapter 167.7D12 of the Code of the Town of Halifax. We'd like to take a few minutes to discuss this matter with you at your earliest convenience so as to establish if the use is actually occurring and establish a date of origin. The intent is to determine if there is an actual in-law apartment and as to whether or not it falls under the town zoning provisions requiring a special permit. Thank you for your anticipated cooperation in this matter. Our regular business hours and best time to reach us would be Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 at 781-293-6557. Respectfully, Robert Piccarelli, Zoning Enforcement Officer. To whom it may concern is the letter dated November 15th, 2016. Was accepted at the office of the town clerk in Halifax. To whom it may concern, After applying for a refinance loan, we were informed by the town of Halifax that we had a non-compliant illegal in-law apartment. Upon moving into 105 Wood Street, we completed work that had already been started in the basement. We didn't realize that this required a special permit. We apologize and would like to rectify this situation as soon as possible. Thank you, sincerely yours, John Walsh and Grinnell Walsh. Hi.
How you doing?
Would you like to speak to this? Did you have a discussion with the building inspector?
No.
Did you meet with him?
Well, yes, we did meet with him, yes.
Yeah, what do you have to say?
He said, until it goes into the town board, there's nothing that he can do. He can't see problems, is what I assumed he said to us, what he said. And this is, but it's up to the town board.
Okay. How
We both own-
long have you owned the property?
We bought it in 2012.
2012. And what was there then?
Basically, everything was in there. It was rough plumbed for a bathroom. We just finished that off. We just connecting some simple pipes to the toilet. And then I added some cabinets, and we did the floor with tile. And
Now, is this a split level? Is that
yeah, it's a
all?
raised ranch.
So it's, the bottom level is the in-law and the upstairs is where, who is living?
Where I am.
Where you are. And you are where?
She is.
You're downstairs.
Downstairs.
It's okay.
And we both own the house.
Yeah.
It's not like, it's not like, you know, like, hey, Mom, why don't you come live with me? We own it together.
Okay.
And once we,
I didn't, okay.
once we tried refinancing, to get Christmas and everything else, we can get Christmas presents and paying off some old debt, then we got the letter saying that there could be a possible in-law and that it's not compliant. And we decided to rectify it right away.
Well, the building inspector did make mention of that the owner of record is both parties. It says Rennell Walsh and John Walsh, owners of record. Is the, well, first of all, I'll open it up to any questions of the board, but is there a separate entranceway for downstairs to
Yes.
upstairs?
Yes,
Yep.
full walkout, it's a full walkout downstairs, out the back, and she can exit through one stair and up the set of stairs as shown in the picture.
As in the front door?
Yes,
Okay,
And it's an aluminum door in the back and everything.
steel door.
to
Steel door.
walk up.
It's a walkout, it's a full
big
walkout
full
door.
walkout. Yeah.
Okay, and how many bedrooms are there downstairs?
One.
And how many bedrooms are there upstairs?
Right.
3. Are you living there alone?
Just myself, my wife, and my son.
Okay, so there's 3 people upstairs. Come on in, have a seat.
My baby.
Oh.
The little one.
You have the little one in the hall,
Oh.
because we didn't know, because it was kind of crowded when we first came in. It's my wife, Kayla.
Now, Kayla, is Kayla an owner of record also?
No, she's not.
Okay, it's
Just us two.
2, all right.
And Kayla's my wife.
Let me ask you this, how about, is there separate utilities? Is there a separate meter for downstairs than upstairs? So that's shared?
Everything is shared on the whole house.
Okay, water, heat,
Yeah.
furnace,
Everything. One furnace, one input for water, everything is all,
separate zones, is there a downstairs thermostat and an
yes,
upstairs?
there's a downstairs and upstairs thermostat.
Okay,
That's the only thing that's different.
let me ask you this, full kitchen downstairs and a full kitchen upstairs?
Yeah, it's in the picture.
Yeah, and then I saw some, I'm sorry, didn't you guys want to see the pictures?
They do have copies.
Do you?
I mean,
Oh, okay.
several. Really nice.
All right, let me ask you this, did the building inspector review the conditions for that are requirements for an in-law apartment? As far as square footage and shared
Yes, he
living?
said under 600 square, and it is under 600 square, it's about 4 and change. I measured all the rooms out, and as long as you don't count a bathroom, as far as square footage. Bathroom is included, so add another 8 by 8, 15, like another,
64,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's under the 600 square.
okay. Questions from the board, please, gentlemen.
When you bought the house, it was like that?
95% was there. All we did was that we added cabinets, of course, because it was no cabinets. And the plumbing in the bathroom was already pre-plumbed. And that was also when we bought the house, is how it was listed. It was plumbed, and then all I did is put cabinets in the kitchen.
when you bought it from the people, they told you it was gonna be, it was an in-law apartment there before? or no?
No. But we didn't think it was an in-law because we own the house together. So we didn't, we assumed,
We got two kitchens.
Right.
You got two kitchens, which makes it an in-law.
right, I'd be more than happy to remove the kitchen, she never uses it, that's not the issue.
I'm 90% upstairs with the baby.
They weren't renting it out prior to you, or they didn't have
I
tenants
have-
or anything like that?
Prior to us, we have no idea. The house was vacant when we saw it, so there was nobody living there at the time. And then the realtor showed us, and then we bought the house, and we were all of us living together.
Do we have a copy of the requirements for in zoning for an in-law apartment?
Is there a door at the bottom of the stairs?
There's two exits, there's an exit in the,
Well, no, is there a door separating the in-law apartment from the upstairs?
yes,
Yes.
but that could be removed.
What do you have for shared living space?
No shared living space. But she only, she does is watch TV downstairs and sleeps downstairs. She's 95% of her time up there with us, taking care of the baby with us, eating with us. 9 times out of 10, she falls asleep in the other bedroom upstairs.
They can remove the kitchen.
Sorry.
What is it? Sorry. It's more just the oven, right?
They remove the stove or the refrigerator, and it becomes a single family. Why do you wanna go through the problem of having an in-law apartment if you,
We don't. We told we had to come this way. If it was simply removing a stove or removing the refrigerator, I would have taken out,
Yeah.
no problem. In a heartbeat. We don't even use it.
Open on Church Street, don't open the stove, leave it on, personal, small refrigerator.
you can have a microwave.
So, yeah. There's lots of kitchens in there, is everything else?
She does, for like
Sometimes,
sodas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nothing,
We've had one before, just no oven, had a small personal refrigerator,
You like-
microwave.
she had, I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
It wasn't a question, we're just,
Oh,
we had somebody else, same scenario, and they just had a small personal refrigerator, microwave, that was pretty much it.
I mean,
And it didn't
in-law
require in-laws.
would be a,
okay. I mean, I have no problem taking it upstairs and taking it out. I'm more than happy to take it upstairs and
I
out.
understand that.
Just mine's on its way out.
In-law.
So-
The other person comes in and lives there.
That might be the best, easiest option.
Yeah, I
They're not on the deed.
You need shared living space.
Sorry.
You need shared living
It's the way
space,
that it's
you can't have a doorway
And then
between
the
the two
restriction is
living areas, which you
Okay.
do.
So it's, the issue
Yeah,
is
and
not
the
just.
Just to be an
Requires
immediate
6
family
years
member.
of that
Yeah, right,
area.
exactly.
Related
That comes,
like
I was reading the guidelines on that. I have no problem taking out, I prefer nothing involved, just to take care of it so I can get my loan going, because my loan's been held up for a month and a half now, and I can't do Christmas shopping yet.
Because if there's no, the issue is that you could rent that out. If there's no kitchen, you can't rent it out. So it doesn't matter if it's the owner or not, I think it matters whether there's a separate apartment inside the home.
Thank you
Or
very
make
much.
it multifamily.
Medical marijuana treatment. Just to review with you.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know how much or how technical the building inspector got with you, but our definition, I don't know if they went through it or you read it or became aware of it. An in-law apartment, immediate family member, accessory apartment, allowable by special permit from the zoning board of appeals in the AR, the B, and the C districts. An in-law apartment shall share a major utility, some shared living space, and one shared entrance with the primary dwelling. So, all of your utilities are shared, correct? One shared entranceway, the primary one on the front door, that's shared.
Yes,
Yours goes down, yours goes up.
yes.
And the other thing is some shared living space.
There is no shared.
No. B, in-law apartments must be occupied by a relative of the owner and/or resident of the primary dwelling. Mom. And you are on the deed as an owner. In-law apartments shall not be converted to income-producing apartments. That's the biggest restriction right there. You know, which is what we're looking at when Mr. Durgan said, you know, is there a door separating it?
Oh, okay.
You know, that way, you know, we have quite a few in-law apartments that become in-law. The immediate family member either moves out or is no longer living on the property. A wall is put up, the door is put on, and now it's a duplex. And that's what we're looking to avoid.
Right.
That's specific
Mhm.
right there. Special permits for in-law apartments are granted to the applicant are not transferable with the land. So again, you sell the house, even though it may be advertised as an in-law apartment or whatnot, it's not transferable. This is
Right, it's just,
for
just
you two.
this.
Special permits for in-law apartments are granted for a period of 5 years and must be renewed after the 5 years by coming back to the zoning board, to a zoning board meeting. The size of an in-law apartment shall be no larger than 50% of the first floor living space of the main residence or 900 square feet, whichever is greater. All commercial structures greater than, well, that's neither here nor there. Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
Is there a door at the bottom of the stairs going into your area?
And hers? Yes.
So it's separated completely.
It would have to be, like Mr. Durgan had.
Yeah. Which we understand, which I understand.
The other major concern is the kitchen downstairs. Normally, we have in the past restricted that when the in-law apartment expires, or the permit expires for it, that the kitchen has to be removed, which basically concerns itself with the stove and or the refrigerator, or is it just the stove? That way, it would almost have to be a shared area.
Yeah,
Is that a problem?
Not a problem at all. I can do that tomorrow.
You're under the 900 square feet?
Yes, we are.
You're under than 50%. What else do we have, gentlemen? Any other questions, any other restrictions, anything you'd like to address?
Are they
So
not-
what are they doing? They're gonna take out the
If they
stove,
take out
so
the
it's
stove,
not
there's
in
no
the
in-law
or what are we
apartment,
doing?
there's no special permit.
No, the building inspector requires a special permit for an in-law apartment. However, the stove would be removed to eliminate a duplex, a two-family home.
But it's also being removed
For the
for,
in-law apartment.
yeah. So it's no longer an in-law apartment, it's the owners of the house occupying it, living on
They're
two
both
separate
owners.
floors.
And the other
Two
in-law
bedrooms
apartment,
and living space downstairs. Like
So
a
you're
lot
saying by removal of the stove, then a special permit would not be required?
Correct.
But then they still have to go to inspector's letter saying that they have an in-law down there, unless we write.
I think he might have to
It's not.
re-inspect it, sees that it's not an
Right.
in-law.
Right. I think that's what
What's
would
the
have to
definition
happen.
of in-law?
Well, I just read it.
No, but I mean, is there a definition saying the stove has to be removed?
No.
Or is it
That's a reason for.
Unless it's in the building code, it might be in the building code, it's not in the zoning. I think before we vote on this, I think we should run it by the building inspector, seeing if in fact a removal of the stove where both parties are listed as owners of the property and listed on the deed, with removal of the stove still require a special permit for an in-law apartment once the stove has been removed by definition.
If he feels like
How
it's
about if we
something
send
else.
a letter to Mr.
Yeah.
Piccarelli and we'll ask him to respond on that. I mean, normally we do go out on a site inspection, and in lieu of that, I think we should definitely take into consideration Mr. Piccarelli's decision on that. And
Cause it's either that or this doesn't mean it. It's tough.
I agree.
So we would have to see what his requirements are for just the extra living space.
All right. I'd recommend that a letter be sent to the building inspector, Mr. Piccarelli. It, as a result of the hearing from December 12th, the applicant has agreed to remove the stove and any other utilities or appliances that would meet the requirements of the definition of a kitchen, and therefore, where both parties are owners and listed on the deed, the board would like to know his opinion on whether or not this still meets the requirement of an in-law apartment, something to that effect.
Mhm.
What do you think?
Mhm.
That pretty much covers
Okay,
it.
so a motion to continue to next.
And then I'll accept a motion regarding petition number 859 until our next meeting. We want to get it right. We have to, I'm sorry, we have to get it right, you know.
Yeah, it's just, that we were banking on Christmas.
January 9th
Tonight, yeah.
at, we'll do the first one, 7:15.
That'd be great. All right, what's that?
Did we not, no?
No,
Somebody's-
motion to, continue petition 859, 7:15, January 9th.
Upon receipt of the opinion from the building inspector. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Okay.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Okay?
So going, so should I just go home and just take the stove out?
No.
No, I wouldn't do that yet.
The reason being is he doesn't use it anyways, so I don't really care
Well,
personally.
let's see what the building inspector, you know, says as far as, you know, the building code goes, and if that's all that's required, then we're all good.
Okay.
All right?
So
So-
January 9th, 7:15, come back.
What's that?
January 9th, 7:15.
Thank you very much. We didn't even wake him up, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah?
Did he vote?
Does he want to be on the board? I'll take an application.
You said January 9th.
January 9th.
Get a lot of great press.
Come on, okay. I just
Thank you
consider
very much, Dylan.
Yes, consider
Yes, we call me on Monday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The baby makes a motion to adjourn the meeting. Because the baby gets started. Yeah, for sure. We're in deep trouble. We've done pretty well, I'd say. Wow.
Hi, how are you?
Chairman.
All right, let's
2 minutes. That's pretty good. Zaya, how are you?
Good, you?
Good, thanks.
Do we have to remember an actual address?
Yeah, the address, 519 Ponce. So it's those two things.
Oh.
For recycling, and they go to 254.
16 at 8:15 p.m. in meeting number 1 at the Town Hall, 199 Plymouth Street in Halifax, Mass. On the application by Robert Kraus Esquire and Kraus and Hummel LLP on behalf of Daniel McCauley, CMAC Realty LLC, to the property located at 590 Monpont Street, Halifax, Mass. Said property is owned by Monpont Street LLC. Care of managers Francis G. Vaquero of 7 Bryan Ave, Shrewsbury, Mass. 01545, and Daniel McCauley at 140 Wood Road, Situate, Suite 410, Braintree, Mass. Is shown on Assessors Map number 19. The applicant seeks an appeal of the notice of violation from the Inspector of Building Zoning Enforcement Officer, letter dated October 20th, 2016, which states the following: you're hereby given notice you are in violation of section 167.7A, section 167.7D2, and sections 167.7D12 of the zoning bylaw. You are hereby ordered to cease and desist such multifamily use at the property. The applicant seeks an appeal of the building inspector's decision in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 48, Section 8 and 15, along with the zoning bylaws of the town of Halifax, under Section 167.21A, page 167.64, area is zoned residential, petition number 860, Halifax Board of Appeals. Now, let's just read into, I did see a letter here from here it is here. This is the October 14, 2016 letter from the Rob Picarelli, Inspector of Buildings, Zoning Enforcement Officer, to Daniel McCauley, care of CMAC Realty LLC, 140 Wood Road, Suite 410, Braintree, Mass. 02184. Dear Mr. McCauley, it has come to the attention of this office that there has been an unpermitted change of use located at 591 Ponset Street, Halifax, Mass. 02338. Please respond immediately upon receipt of this letter so that we can come to a conclusion and determine if any further course of action needs to be addressed. Violations of the code of the town of Halifax zoning bylaws are punishable with fines up to $300 per day, with each passing day constituting a separate offense as per section 167.23. Such fines will be administered to the Clerk Magistrate's Office at the Plymouth District Court. Thank you, Robert Picarelli, Inspector of Buildings / Zoning Enforcement Officer. Again, on October 20th, 2016, to Daniel McCauley, care of CMAC Realty LLC, 140 Wood Road, Suite 410, Braintree, Mass. Dear Mr. McCauley, regarding 591 Ponce Street, Halifax, this letter is to inform you that after an on-site inspection with your representative at 591 Ponce Street on October 20th, 2016, this office has determined that an unpermitted, non-compliant multifamily use is being conducted at the property. You are hereby giving notice you are in violation of section 167.7A, section 167.7D2, and section 167.7D12 of the zoning bylaw. You are hereby ordered to cease and desist such multifamily use on the property within 30 days of the date of this letter. You have the right to appeal this notice of violation of the zoning bylaw in order of the Zoning Board of Appeals within 30 days of the date of this notice, in order pursuant to Mass General Law, section 40A, sections 8 and 15. Violations of the code of the town of Halifax zoning bylaws are punishable with fines up to $300 per day, with each passing day constituting a separate offense as per section 167.23. Such fines will be administered to the Clerk Magistrate's Office at Plymouth District Court. Thank you, Rob Picarelli, Inspector of Buildings / Zoning Enforcement Officer. Mr. Kraus, how are you?
I'm well, Mr. Chairman, how are you?
Very well. Would you like to speak to this petition?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, through you to the board. Yeah, you're right, there are a couple letters, including the chief, who is with us tonight, with respect to the property. Just by way of brief, I don't know if it's explanation, description. Our client bought the property in 2008. At the time, there were 2 apartments on the top floor, the second floor. One of the tenants has been there for 15 years. Since that time he bought it, he's gone through 4 tenants. Originally, there were 3 commercial properties or tenants on the first floor. There was the hairdresser that's still there. There was an accountant who's now gone. And there was a trading post or a motorcycle accessory store. You know, tenants didn't pay, the place went through some changes, and the entity converted 2 of the commercial to a residential.
On which floor?
On the first floor, Mr. Chairman. There is no, to the best of my knowledge, permit for that, and we understand that's an issue. I've gone through the file. I was talking to Mr. Picarelli, the building inspector, about it. I'm hard pressed to understand it. I know that Mr. Picarelli understands it better than me, but there's a lot of history to this property. What really brings us tonight, I think, here is some things fell through the crack that we have addressed and we need to continue to address. The property manager went into the National Guard, so this property went into a couple of holes in addressing some of the issues.
Now, is this Mr. Lowe?
Mr. Lowe?
No.
Who was the original special permit issued to?
I'm not sure. That was Mr. Lowe.
Mr. Lowe?
Yeah, that's before.
So there's Mr. Lowe to a second owner to now.
Right, this is, we had nothing to do with Mr. Lowe.
Okay.
Right.
But that's who the special permit was.
Right,
originally.
Yes.
91?
1991.
Yeah. When my client bought it, it had 2 residential on the top and 3 commercials on the first. And what happened ultimately is that we've gone through a number of tenants. My client's put in over $100,000 into the property. He's trying to improve it. I mean, the place, one next door to it is a partially torn down, burnt down place, and the next one, or the other property right next to it, is another multifamily. Let me address the fire chief's letter first, because I know he's here, and thank you for coming. Do you guys have that letter? Well, we want to address it. Even though you don't have it, I'll read it very quickly, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
If I may?
Please.
Here's the original.
Thank you.
Let me just read it out loud. December 6, 2016, addressed to Dan McCauley. Dear Mr. McCauley, as you were on October 9, 2016, we responded to your property located at 590 Monpont Street from an owner of gasoline. Upon investigation, it was discovered that, 5 to 10 gallons of gasoline, 10 bags of pesticide, and various pieces of gasoline-powered equipment were stored in the basement. You should know that's all gone. That was part of a landscaping operation, but that has all been removed. At that time, Captain Matthew Cunningham advised you that per MGL Chapter 148, Section 23, those items would need to be removed immediately and could not be stored in the property. We've done that. Additionally, it was reported to that a commercial space located on the first floor had recently been renovated and was being used as an apartment. I don't know when that renovation occurred, but it was some time ago.
Yeah.
According to the building inspector's records, the property is only zoned for one apartment, yet there are 3 occupied apartments. This goes back to the way my client bought it. On November 10, 2016, the building inspector, I met with Mr. McCourt and Mr. Jenkins, both of CMAC, okay? At the property and conducted an inspection. I discussed with Mr. McCourt and Mr. Jenkins that because of the building use, there are multiple issues with the fire alarm system, exit signs, and building ingress that will need to be addressed. The exit signs that didn't have been addressed, the egress and the fire alarms, it's a work in progress by dialogue between the parties. And I hope to think that, or I like to think, that effective progress is being made. In fact, we just had an opportunity to talk about it, Mr. Piccarelli's office, about the fire alarm system. When the last renovation occurred, there was a new fire system or alarm system put in the property.
Yeah, there's a fully adjustable alarm that's functioning, that's monitored monthly, and it's been that way for the last couple of years.
And your name, sir?
Stephen Jenkins.
From CMAC works with the owner of the property. Lastly, it is my understanding that since the inspection, an application has been filed with the ZBA to have the additional apartments accepted. Unfortunately, zoning decisions can often take months, and it is imperative that action be taken to make the necessary improvements for the safety of the residents. I'm requesting you submit a plan, et cetera, et cetera. I think the chief was referring to this application. There's no present pending application for any zoning relief before the board. Because this is, we're trying to address the most immediate issues, and the most immediate issues for us is safety, period. So, Mr. Jenkins, Mr. McCourt, and the chief can obviously speak to that, but we have addressed the recited items that are in the letter, and we're working on the fire alarm system and the egresses. Chief, is that a fair statement?
Last time we were out there, we had to move some doors, there was some signage added. Making immediate, we were trying to take care of the immediate concerns, and a lot
When
of
was the
them.
last time you were there, chief?
The day of the letter, actually.
Oh, the day.
December 6th,
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman.
so there was, some progress made, but if it's gonna be, the building wasn't originally designed to be used like that, so,
It's a temporary.
yeah, the temporary fit,
It would be
right?
a temporary fix until we can come up with some sort of life safety. I mean, because, obviously the first floor, there was no permit pulled for that apartment on the first floor. The second floor, I probably agree, it's probably been there for years, who knows when it went in. I think at the assessor's office, it might have been sometime in 2010, 2011, I don't know. But again, unpermitted, so no plan review, so can't tell you if it meets the requirements of life safety or not as it stands.
I can tell you that, and I believe my client, and I think we have documentation that there are 2 apartments on the second floor predate his acquisition. I think it's the intent of our client to get rid of the residential on the first floor, to go back to the way it was, subject to appropriate permitting, to get rid of those the residential unit. So right now, there are 4, 2 apartments, 2 apartments on the top floor, second floor, an apartment on the first floor, and the hairdresser. That's what's presently there. And again, we haven't had enough time to brainstorm this and think this all the way through. But it's more than likely, subject to getting that tenant out of there on the first floor, that we're gonna get rid of the residential on the first floor and go back basically to the way we had it, subject to permitting. And obviously, you know, if we don't have the permits, then we'd have to get some relief. It's subject to further review of the file, because there are a number of documents in the file about site plan waiver from the planning board, sign permits for all the commercial properties. There's a lot of confusing information. I know there's a special permit in the file that was gotten by Mr. Lowe sometime before our client bought it, but there's some other.
Permit for what?
For the commercial space.
It was a special permit for a one apartment owner occupied,
On the second floor.
on the second.
The second floor. But I think that, again, that goes back to well before when our client bought the property. It was occupied, he bought it, and we can demonstrate it and evidence it, that it was bought with 2 apartments and then the 3 commercial. You can see it from the signs. We actually went in for a sign permit, and it has a sign of the different businesses that are located at the property. There's no excuse for safety concerns, we understand that. There's only explanations. I know that Mr. McCord and Mr. Jenkins are working very closely with the chief and his department to address those. And we're willing to establish deadlines and timelines to address all those concerns. To address the zoning issues, we have to address the person who's on the first floor, and we'd like some time to be able to address any kind of zoning issues that we might have with the town on this property. Well, the letter from Mr. Piccarelli, we're fair game. We just need a little more time, particularly given the holidays, not the safety concerns, but the zoning issues, to address it more fully and intelligently with the board. That's all. We don't want to have a cease and desist. We don't want the penalties per day. We're working closely. My client is, pardon the pun, because the Patriots playing tonight, but we haven't gotten past the 10-yard line on this property. He's put in a lot of money, and he's lost a lot, more than he's put into it. That's not an excuse for safety concerns. It's just an explanation of where he is and the frustrations that he's experienced.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Coyle. Mr.
Chairman.
Piccarelli, what are your views?
I understand the time constraints. He has tenants, we don't want to make people homeless, obviously. There are obviously.
Are we there now?
Yeah, they're there now. There's two up, and there's a tenant on the first floor that was converted. I can't speak as to when it was converted to an apartment. You say some time ago. I don't know, because my best guess would be when the Trading Post left, which was the business that was there before. So obviously, if the Trading Post was there, there was no apartment there. So whenever they left, I think that would be an accurate.
So is the first floor apartment, Rob, is that in the back, or is that the whole left side?
It's the whole left side of the building.
Oh, okay. I was absolutely.
It used to be, that whole left side had a demising wall, approximately down the middle, and it had been a different businesses. I think it was Pemtax, a tax company. I think there was a motorcycle engine repair shop at one point. There might have been a few other smaller ones. And then I think when the Trading Post took it over, they took that demising wall.
This is in your permit files.
Correct.
You can see the sign application for all the commercial.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry, Mr. Piccarelli.
And then the Trading Post took it over, opened it up, made it one business, and then when they left, I don't know when the apartment came in, but obviously it was sometime after that.
Okay. Let me ask you this, when was the last time that a special permit was in effect? If one was issued in 1991,
That's all I have on record.
is it a 5-year period as a permit?
Five-year period.
It was a 5-year,
Yeah,
so
it
from,
wasn't renewed.
so it was expired basically on or about 1996?
That would be my best guess.
Was never renewed?
No.
And when did we go from 1 apartment to 2 apartments upstairs, your best, before or after the permit
And
expired?
he may dispute, I can only go by the assessor's records because there's no,
Okay,
obviously,
when
there's
did
no
they say?
records in my file. If they have information on the sale of the property, they can certainly.
We can show you rent records from the 2 residents above. If we're receiving
Dating
rent.
back to when?
Well, we can show you,
Prior to
we may not have a copy of the check, but we can show you probably a record of receipt of payments from the tenants. Hurley's been there for 15 years. The lady that lives in one of the apartments, and the other one, she can give an affidavit, because we've gone through, since we've owned it, 4 tenants in the other
For the
apartment
most
on the
part,
top floor.
Rob,
My
we go back
guess,
to
my guess would
2000
be,
maybe.
it didn't predate 96, because that's when the special permit would have ended. So
Yeah.
any time from 96 on is anyone's best guess.
Yeah, when Dan bought the property, those two tenants were there.
When did you buy the property?
2008.
2008.
Yeah,
And the hairdresser can attest to that.
yeah. We didn't have time to get an affidavit because what we were trying to do is not make this contentious, trying to work with the fire chief and Mr. Piccarelli.
Now, the original permit was for one apartment upstairs,
The special permit was
Was
for
for
one
one
owner-occupied apartment.
apartment. As far as you know, when either when it was single apartment upstairs owner occupied or when the second apartment was put in, is there anything or any notations that it complied with zoning, safety, fire, exits, that it complied with the building code?
No, there's nothing in there, just the
No
point is-
building, no permit,
It just says,
occupancy permit signed as of record or anything to that effect,
no,
as far as we know?
no, just a
So
determination.
from 1996, there's been no,
On
no
the upstairs, no.
Mr. Chairman, I would say that if you look at the record, no offense to the department, it's a scattered file. There's a lot of different, there's not a completeness on anything in there. There's a lot of requests for waivers for planning board approval. There's a special permit, but nothing following it up. It's confusing at best.
I think there's a permit in there when they did the addressable fire alarm.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
prior.
that was I think that, yeah, did 2013.
Yeah, when he upgraded the,
It was noted that, under the previous fire chief, that they wanted the fire alarms put in.
and we upgraded.
2013.
2013.
We went to 110 on
Yeah, we upgraded the entire fire alarm system in the building.
Yeah, there were three tenants in the first floor, too.
motorcycle to the.
In 2013.
Oh, when they changed.
Exactly. When they took
When they changed the wall.
So when they took the,
So it must have, 2013 must have been when they changed the use to that, open up that whole left side to the
there
trading.
was some type of fire permit taken out.
They just
No.
upgraded the alarm.
No, because there was a permit pulled for the trading post on the first floor, that triggered the fire alarm saying, hey, we need to have a fire alarm in this building.
Yeah,
Because
I
of the
think it was a
trading.
judgment call.
And did that meet all the requirements back then as far as egress and the system?
I think that only.
Not for the apartments,
No,
just
not
for
the
that.
apartments.
Just
Only
for the first floor.
Only for the first floor.
Only for the, that's what it was, just for that first
Just for that
floor?
first floor.
And the addressable alarm was put in all levels, and that went through and signed off. So the
It
addressable.
may have. I don't-
Yeah, it's in the file.
It's in the basement, first floor, second floor.
But it was a trigger that, it was a trading post change of use that triggered the fire alarm.
Yeah,
Okay, as far as the, those safety issues with the gasoline and whatnot, Chief,
All-
are you
all
all
that-
happy with that?
All of that's been removed. Rob and I did a walkthrough one day. They removed a door while we were there. We actually took some extra signs. They put some extra signs up. My biggest concern being here today is to make sure that if you do grant a permit for the two apartments, that they be brought up to today's
The
code.
two apartments on the second.
Yeah.
Right, the two apartments on the second, and to know what you're gonna do. Well, I don't know what's gonna happen with the first floor, but I mean, basically the whole building, we have to go through, start pretty much from scratch with the alarm system and make sure it's in compliance for whatever it's gonna be used for. I think, I spoke to them earlier, I wanna meet with their alarm company.
Yeah, probably
We're gonna do
already.
some alarm testing, hopefully this week. And
Rob, what are you gonna require, as far as mixed use, what are you gonna require on a special
Well, I
permit?
mean, I'm not sure what we have, like, I mean, the two apartments upstairs, I mean, we classify
require
one
is-
and two family. We get into a third, we're multifamily. But we've also got a mixed use with the two apartments and the businesses, so, I mean, I don't know what we're gonna end up with, I don't know what they're gonna be requesting, that's to be determined.
What's
I'm
on your
assuming.
application, Mr. Kraus? What are you looking for?
Mr. Chairman, tonight, all we're here for is to address the zoning and building inspector's letter.
Right.
We wanted to come tonight to get a sense, to work with Mr. Piccarelli, the board, the fire chief, and then we'll figure out what kind of zoning relief we need our application. You know, we're talking to my clients whether we're gonna what we're gonna seek is 2 commercial, 2 residential, which it sounds like that's the direction that this is heading in. Get rid of that first floor apartment completely. Maintain the 2 apartments correctly that have been there since we bought it, and we'll show you the evidence of it, and maintain the hairstylist.
So what will you need for that then, if we go with
Well, I
the
think if he does what he's talking about, it's gonna have to come before the board for a special permit.
for multi-use?
For, you know, mixed use or
Mixed
whatever the
use,
determination's gonna
mixed
be.
use.
However, you know, this is gonna fit or not fit into the mold, and whatever waivers or requirements it's gonna take.
Right, because what we would do is, we would suggest to the building inspector, Mr. Chairman, what we want. He'd give us an opinion letter as to where under the.
Well, I can either, if it's gonna need a special permit, if you're gonna give me an application, I'll have to deny it and send you the zoning.
Right, no,
For a special permit.
Right, it's just, it's incumbent upon us to tell you precisely what we're gonna do.
Absolutely.
And deal with this
We're talking
apartment.
abstract here right
No,
now.
that's right, but we
Can
have,
I just interject? Right now, all we want to do is either uphold the building inspector's decision or overturn it. That's really what we should be concentrating.
That's what you
Right.
applied for.
can I make a suggestion or an offer, Mr. Chairman, through you to your board? What we'd like to do is,
You're right, because that's what you applied.
yeah, that's the only thing I had available to me.
Board right tonight.
That's what's in front of us right now.
What I'd like to do, and I talked to Mr. Piccarelli about this, is if we can just continue this matter into the new year, that'll give us time to reconnoiter and figure out what we're exactly applying for. At that point, we'll probably be in a position, hopefully, to withdraw our appeal of the building inspector's decision and move forward with something that's sensible. Whether it's mixed use, multifamily, depending upon where we feel on the grid, because that's what
As far as
167.
safety is concerned, Chief, are you?
Well, I'm gonna move, if I meet with the alarm company and it's not, I'm gonna handle that separately,
Yeah.
so that they
You
have
issue
to.
a cease and desist and immediate.
Right.
Yeah. We understand that completely. Safety is not an issue. It's not up for discussion. It is safe or it's not safe.
Right.
And we understand that. So I know that Mr. Jenkins and Mr. McCord were talking to the chief about getting a
There is
fire
little
company.
Where we're at, there is kind of a little bit of gray area, but only because we don't know if it was meets the building code to be.
Well, here's where, and I'll speak for myself, I don't know if
Yeah.
Chief agrees or not, but here's where we stand with this. I mean, we're basically asking for time, and I understand where you're coming from. Our intention is not to make people homeless. We don't want to kick these people out and put them on the street. But on the other hand, we have to make them safe while they're there. He's been put on notice that at this point, it's an illegal use as far as the town is concerned. We can't say whether it's safe or not because it hasn't been brought up to code, obviously. They're asking for time, so at this point, for us to agree to that, we would have to agree to a temporary solution. Now, a temporary solution is it's not a best case scenario, but it's only what we can do at this point without putting people on the street.
Right, Mr. Chairman, as you know, to get somebody out of an apartment, it's a bit time consuming. I think the tenant, from what I understand, may want to be out, not the 2 top ones. If you give us this time, we will make whatever efforts necessary to address the chief's concerns. And I know that Mr. Jenkins and Mr. McCord have been in touch with the chief and continue to be. And if any time the chief gets concerned about it, he has his own way of addressing the issues by bringing a cease and desist and drag us in the court. Unfortunately, it hasn't come to that.
Right. Most of the things have been done, we're trying to give a little bit of time, but I think me and Rob had talked, that we thought 30 days was.
I think you meet once a month, every 30 days. I think it would be a reasonable request for them to ask for 30 days. We meet with them, see if we can come up with the temporary solutions for safety. And at the next meeting, we see where we stand. If they need another 30 days, we address it at that point. But at some point, they have to come up with what they're applying for.
Right.
This isn't just gonna continue.
No, we're not gonna let the patient bleed out. We're gonna come up with a plan, we're gonna submit it, Rob will deny it, because he's gonna have to, and he's gonna tell us where we have to get the relief. And it's from this board. And he's gonna tell us what we need by way of relief. That's how it works.
Rob, is that good with you?
I mean, that's, I think, the only solution we have at this point.
And what we have, at least that's temporarily or or what's there now is safe enough to leave the tenants there?
We felt, we addressed a lot of the immediate safety concerns when we were there in October, so.
We're not putting anybody at risk or anything.
Right, I mean, but we want to go back this week and meet with the alarm company, test the alarm system again, make sure it's still working, make sure they have the carbon monoxide detectors in both the apartments. They had, you know, they did address, we had some egress issues with blocked hallways and doors that shouldn't be there, they removed, so they did
Whose
work.
gasoline was it, by the way, just?
It was
How did you get
landscaping,
down
it was like someone storing their mower for something we used on another property. You know how you
Well,
put
it
your.
wasn't anything commercial or anything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
It was,
a landscaping.
it was a landscaping thing that we just stored some equipment there, but it's not being stored there anymore.
It's not there anymore, it's
Yeah.
cleaned up, it's gone, but it was
Typically,
commercial
we've never
equipment.
been there, but that crew chief is the National Guard, and the guys put their gas tank in there.
They just,
And then they know better. In the first issue, Dan was on vacation, so he didn't come, his son came, and it just didn't get handled properly.
That business is no longer there though, right?
it's gone.
Not when we checked in October.
No, you can go there tonight, it's not there.
How about the board, do you have any further questions? That's kind of hogging all the questions, sorry, gentlemen.
I just, like, a lot of people that come in here are homeowners that find themselves kind of in a precarious situation. You guys have owned this place since 2008. And you came in with a pretty, I think, honest mea culpa when you came in. But you came in with a team of staff and an attorney. And the fire chief had to come in and the building inspector had to come in. The building inspector wrote a letter for 3 or 4 of the permits that we had tonight and came in for this one at 8:25 for the Patriots game. I think it's a little outrageous that you would ask for more time since this is October 20th. I'm surprised that it's not already done. Meanwhile, you're going to continue to collect rent checks for apartments that in 1991 there was one special permit for. They asked for 2 apartments and the board in 1991 said no to 2 apartments and said yes to 1, so limited them to 1 apartment. You've now kind of stated already that you're going to try and, because they already existed when we bought the property, that you're going to kind of try and bully the board into just giving you the 2 because that person already lives there when you spent maybe 20 years or almost 10 in a dangerous place that the fire chief had to walk into and is still coming to meetings for a month and a half later. I just don't think that this couldn't have been fixed before. And I think I would be, if when we meet January 9th, none of his concerns are met and there isn't a plan in place, I for the first time I think I've been on this board, would be open to using the $300 a day violation for when you're collecting rent checks from a commercial business and 3 apartments in an unsafe building, to use that $300 a day to fund what they're doing for their jobs while you guys are not providing the safety and the necessity of the town. For a company in Braintree that has a bunch of real estate that they own, to not think to themselves, hey, we need to meet certain requirements of a zoning in the town of Halifax, to look that up, I think to pretend like you didn't know is a little crazy, I think. And to put the town in the situation and your residents in that situation, I think is a lot.
I have no answer for your outrage other than to understand it. I will say this, that if the concept is that we're making a ton of money on this place and we've just let it go to hell in a handbasket and not concerned about people, that's not accurate. Again, my client bought it with the 2 apartments. There were 3 commercial spaces below. He converted it to a residence, the 2 commercial, because he wasn't getting paid. As I said, he's put a lot of money. I regret that the chief, I apologize to the chief for coming out tonight. The same thing with Mr. Piccarelli. I'm sorry it's come to this, but it's a complicated situation, and the bad news is they're here. The good news is we're cooperating and we're working closely with them. And I think you get that sense from listening to them. And we apologize that they're here. And I hope the Patriots are winning already, okay? But I do, I apologize for them being here. We're all working towards making something rational. We're not bullying the board. You can do, we can't tell you what to do. We understand that you have the power to say yes, no, maybe, or any conditions that you want. That's not what's on for tonight. What's on for tonight is trying to be in a position where we can justifiably ask you for something.
So,
Now, you're looking for extension of 30 days?
Yeah, I'd like 30 days, and during that time, we're gonna work out all of this stuff, and we're gonna get a plan as to what we're gonna do with this property.
If there's no plan in 30 days, what's gonna happen then? For another extension?
Because I'm hoping, look, the next 2 weeks are, I'm asking for 30 days because that's all I can get. There's 2 weeks that are tough with, you can't get an engineer, you can't get anybody during the next 2 weeks. We will, if we're not perfectly ready when we come back, we will have a very good idea and documentation as to where we're going. We'll be on a track to get to the end result.
And the people that are renting on the first floor, they're gonna be evicted.
Well, if we go through with this process as what we're talking about, that's the only way to do it because converting it or abandoning the use.
The fellow on the first floor is a former CMAC employee, recently divorced, didn't have a place to stay. Has 2 young boys that are hardly ever there. It's just hardship, he doesn't really pay rent. He was supposed to watch the property to make sure this didn't happen. He doesn't. The terms we have with him are good. He knows he needs to find another place to live.
So you're gonna evict him?
Yeah.
Within the 30 days?
He's at will.
It's at will. It's at will.
And honestly, there's not even a stove in there. It's a place for him to go to visit his kids. He lives in Plymouth or down towards Decatur.
It sounds like we can take care of it.
It was an interim solution.
Yeah, it was a no good deed goes unpunished kind of situation.
I think pretty much said everything right at the moment, yeah.
I personally, the only thing I'm having trouble with is, when you said, he sunk $100,000 into the property, I'm kind of amazed that a loan from a bank would even grant money after 2008, without having permits in effect, a special permit or anything in effect, knowing that it was required. I mean, a bank or a finance office should require, look into that.
Yeah, no, it's out of the guy's pocket.
It was not a smart business decision.
No,
it wasn't, but this was literally cash out of his pocket. He fell in love with the property, and his emotions got the best of him. It wasn't a smart decision to make. And I mean,
so we're trying to address what is
about
clearly
$115,000.
cash.
He'll never recover it. He'll never recover it, and he's very disappointed that his neighbors. It's a shambles. It really is.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Well, the only choice we have is we have to go with what's presented to us tonight.
Right. Which is? The applicant seeks an appeal of the building inspector's decision in accordance with Mass General Law 48, Section 8 and 15, along with the zoning bylaws of the town of Halifax under Sections 167-21A. The area is zoned residential.
And I'm asking for a continuation of this hearing until, what's the date?
I think our meeting's the 9th, right, of January?
January 9th.
That's Monday, January 9th. So we'd like to be on your agenda, Mr. Chairman, with respect.
Well, I think we have to uphold the building inspector, the letter. And if we want to give the extension of 30 days, we can opt, that'll be the condition of it.
If you uphold the letter now.
With you, how is that agreeable with you? Continue the position for 30 days.
I mean, it's been a number of days now, as this is ongoing. I've met with Mr. Jenkins and Mr. McCourt and tried to get this thing resolved. I mean, it's not gonna be resolved to today's standards immediately, obviously.
No.
Our concern is we have tenants there. If something happens at this point, okay, we've all been notified that this is an illegal use, as well as them. And we're allowing these tenants to stay in subpar conditions. Now, we can bring it up the best we can, okay? But it's still, we're not gonna have fire separation walls. We've got what we got, other than maybe an alarm system that's gonna be more
But
compliant.
in addition to the addressable alarm, we have 10 combination smoke CO2 fire alarms. Per the latest code, okay, they don't communicate to each other like that from.
Right, when we went in,
10
you
years
said they were
back,
about
I think the only person who should be
down.
saying whether it's okay is the fire chief.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, sorry, Chief.
We can,
Some of the things that I haven't expressed everything, but some of it was frustrating when we went back there the second time. We asked for exit signs, there was exit signs posted on every single door. We opened a closet, it was marked as an exit. We had doorways blocking exits. We had smoke, you told me there was smoke detectors that were hardwired, we pulled them down, they were battery operated detectors. So I know we're painting a rosy picture, but that was not, it was not the case. I was waiting to hear back from you guys up until the day I wrote the letter. Still had not heard anything, which prompted the letter saying I was supposed to hear a couple weeks ago, and now I'm giving you till this deadline until I take other action. And we spoke tonight, it was a good meeting. I want to meet your alarm company out there, make sure at least the alarm's safe, but it doesn't change, like Robert said, if it meets the building code, do we have the right fire stuff? I don't know that.
Well, we don't have, I mean, I don't know, I can't tell, because again, it all comes down to plan review. We were never given a review on anything.
Well,
so
can it at some point,
Well,
can it meet a code
Yeah,
restriction?
sure, if
It
they
can.
wanna open it up and gut it and meet today's codes, I'm sure they could, but as it stands, I don't know what's there. I don't know what the separation from the commercial unit is to the residential unit above. I don't have a clue, there's nothing in the records.
Well-
But I'm just putting facts out there so everyone knows what's going on, that's all I'm doing.
and all we're suggesting is, before you make a decision, upholding, denying, of course, we know what you're gonna do. Give us till the 9th to come up with a plan. Just continue this hearing until the 9th to give us the time to make the chief happy. Pray God he's not here again on the 9th, and that you have a letter from him saying they did this, and this. Because that's what we're gonna be looking for, based upon our action. And that the follow-up with Mr. Piccarelli.
And I think the bottom apartment should be vacated,
That the what?
should be vacated.
By January 9th.
Nobody should be living in the bottom apartment.
By January 9th?
We didn't go to the health, we had noticed, we haven't, because of everything that's been on, we didn't go to the health, even bring in the health department yet. There was no.
No, we haven't even talked to
issue,
the Board of Health yet, as far as what's there,
So-
what's not.
With the first
Whether it
floor
would meet the,
It was certainly being used as an apartment, but there was no stove in that apartment,
there was a microwave.
We'll use our best efforts, because I had suggested, to get the tenant on the first floor out of there, so we can start addressing, or continue to address everything that Mr. Piccarelli and the chief indicated.
Can I ask a question? So this letter came out on the 20th. He said you have to cease and desist multifamily use within 30 days.
October 20th, right?
Right. So, and it's now December 12th.
Yeah, how do you do that with, the problem is, no offense, under summary process.
Mr. Coates, we'll finish this.
Yeah, I guess my question is, other than exit signs and closets, what efforts have you made in the last month and a half or 2 months, really, almost? Other than.
We've removed all the hazardous materials, we've changed the signage, the smoke detectors have been brought up to what we thought was speed. We haven't done any structural work, because how can you when there's a building permit? Yeah, without a building permit, without a real plan.
But I mean, you're asking for less than 30 days to come up with a plan.
That's right,
When you had almost 2 months to come here tonight with a plan.
Well, no, tonight, with respect, tonight, I had a brief opportunity to speak to Mr. Piccarelli. I haven't spoken to the chief, and I haven't, because of the holidays, and I was on trial last week, I haven't had the time, unfortunately, and I'll be honest with you, to address putting in a document what the plan is. I told these guys today, I said I typically come with a written plan for the meeting, but because I was very confused by the file in the building inspector's office, if you look at it, I mean, I know Mr. Piccarelli can make sense of it, but it takes a lot of time.
Well, you have to understand, the file's confusing because there's no permits or anything.
Yeah,
Well, I think
there's nothing in there that you need to ask for the apartments that you need.
Well, if if, for instance, as we contend, that there were tenants on the second floor from 2008 when we got it, even though the record doesn't reflect it, and we have evidence of the fact that that's the way we bought it. Now, that may not comply with zoning, but it goes towards a grandfathering, a potential grandfathering issue as to the use of the property. What I need is, I need until January 9th to come up with a concerted plan to address all the problems with 590 Montpont Street. That's what I'm looking at. Whether that includes having gotten a tenant out of the first floor or providing a notice to quit, whether dealing with Mr. Piccarelli as to what we would like the final to look like. 2 apartments, 2 commercial, back to the way it was. In fact, less than the way it was, because there were 3 commercials allowed on the first and 2 residential. We're talking about doing 2.
There was never 2 residential allowed upstairs.
There was never 2 legal.
I understand, I'm just talking about the historical use from the time we bought it. That's all. I'm not talking about the file, I'm talking about the historical use of the property when we got it. That's what I'm talking about. And if we have to go back and resurrect this, or resurrect this special permit, it's gonna be different, because that's owner occupied. Then that's what we're gonna have to do.
I guess my concern is that you had this long period of time to come with a plan. And instead of adhering to the building inspector's letter, you immediately appealed the thing to extend this out. And my real concern is that you kind of didn't do anything to address his concerns other than safety stuff, which you kind of needed to come up here. And that would, and now, after a month and a half or 2 months, really nothing has been done, and you're asking for less than a month now, when you had a month and a half or 2 months, less than a month with a week of holidays in there to come up with that plan. I don't wanna meet in January and have more time needed.
Okay.
I think we could uphold his decision now and move forward with it and kind of force you to do it if.
Well, then you put me in if you uphold this decision, even though I'm talking about a short period of time, then you put me in a difficult legal position. Because honestly, this was brought to my attention a couple weeks ago while I was on trial. I haven't had a lot of time to review this. I called Mr. Piccarelli once, then I got tied up in the trial, and then I'm trying to figure out what's in this file, what's in this zoning file, to figure out what is the actual permitted use. If you give me 30 days without making a decision, because time standards start once you make that decision, I don't think Mr. Piccarelli, from talking to him personally, wants to punish us. I think he'd much rather, and I called him and I talked to him that I'd have to appeal because I don't have time. And I think I said that to you on the phone. I'm jammed up, so I didn't have a lot of time to address it. But if we come back by the 9th and we have a plan, hopefully we withdraw the application. There's nothing on file about the appeal of his decision, and now we come with a zoning application. We say that we're putting together a plan for a zoning application. It's a much cleaner approach to helping us get a plan, and I'm not asking you for a lot of time, and I know I gotta do a lot of things in a short period of time. So if we don't do it, then you can bring down you do what you want, because I'm only asking on behalf of my client to give us this tiny window so that we can expeditiously put together a plan that addresses not only the chief, well, we're gonna actually do stuff that addresses the chief, address Mr. Piccarelli's concern, and come in with a zoning application.
What's the feelings of the board? Want to continue this till January 9th? Or deny the request of the application? Or address the application that's before the board tonight?
bet the Patriots are winning right now. What's the odds?
I just want to make
What
one
happens?
just
Yeah.
one last thing, and I understand their position. Obviously, they're a company that buys properties, have other properties, but bought properties before. You're putting us in a jam because you didn't do your due diligence and find out what the property was before you bought it. Now, there might have been 2 apartments there, but, you know, theoretically, you should look and see if they're legal apartments before you do it. So you're jamming us up because you didn't do your due diligence and you're putting us in a hard situation here. My ultimate thing is, I want to work with everybody, okay? But we have people there that need to be protected. That's my job, that's the chief's job, that's the town's job. Now, what the solution to protect them is, I can't tell you at this point. I mean, obviously, we all know what situation we're in.
Is 30 days agreeable with you for them to come up with a plan?
Like I said, I mean, our choice is to kick people out now or kick them out 30 days from now.
Yeah. I mean, the first floor guy has to go immediately.
If their petition is denied and we uphold the zoning officer's decision, what happens? Tomorrow, what happens? Is it just they stop paying the fine, or the people have to be evicted? What happens?
Well,
All of the above, I think.
Evictions take place? Just so we know what people, I'm going to avoid, I just want to know the implications. Implications,
I
is
mean,
that
effectively, they
actually-
probably have 30 days to do it, because that's what the letter said, and he appealed the letter. So when this happened, you would probably have 30 days to do it anyhow.
Well, you still gotta,
But the fines would kick in, though.
you still gotta comply with summary process.
I think that's important.
Yeah, summary process still requires.
A little motivation is important.
Oh, I can suggest to you very clearly, we have all the motivation necessary. Because if by January 9th, we don't have a concerted plan, we very well understand what the temper of the board is.
But I agree with Pete. The time has been passed.
From my perspective, if we continued this, and we come back, I'm also concerned that we're gonna come back January 9th, there's gonna be he's gonna withdraw the appeal, bring in the application for the whatever it is that's gonna be planned. We're gonna go through that process, which could take multiple months. And when is it gonna be that this is gonna be the way we want it? It could be a year before all this is up to snuff.
Well,
This is
no
the stuff that
If
frustrates me.
If we
So-
uphold,
From my perspective, we come back here on January 9th. And this is only me, I'm not speaking for anybody else, but if we come back here on January 9th, and there's still a tenant in that downstairs apartment, and not every single concern that the fire chief has been addressed either in person or hopefully in letter, and all the building inspector's concerns are alleviated through the application, then I wouldn't hesitate to deny the appeal and go forward with the cease and desist, which I think is what he's saying, which is a lot to ask for. It's also, you know, people have Christmas trees in apartments that aren't meeting fire code. That's in the back of everybody's head. I don't know.
so there would be 30 days before evictions would start if we deny.
No, the eviction of the first floor would start immediately. As a
The eviction
maximum.
process or the evictions?
The eviction, well, the guy has to go out of here tomorrow. No, you can't stay in there.
So then we're responsible if something happens.
No,
No.
they're responsible, it's not that, but.
No, we're responsible. The idea is, between now and January 9th, we're gonna address all the safety concerns. If the chief is not satisfied that we haven't addressed the safety concerns, then, as you heard him say earlier, he has a process that he can initiate immediately, regardless of the board, and regardless of the building inspector.
And that's for the alarm system, I'm just saying, like, all of the safety concerns would encompass
Fire
the
separation,
building
egress.
code, right.
Yeah,
The whole deal.
but that's structural stuff that's not gonna happen it's not gonna happen
Do I
overnight.
have a motion on the board to continue this to the January 9th meeting?
I'll move to continue until January 9th.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. I'd like to put a condition on it.
Certainly.
First floor apartment has to be vacated.
Immediately.
Well, I don't know if we continue it with a condition, but I think we can deny it in January 9th.
I don't think we can
If that-
continue with the
Yeah,
condition either.
but I think we can happily deny the.
We
We can make it quite clear that that is the.
We heard the board very clearly.
I'll call for a voice vote. Kasia? Peter?
Yes.
Paul? Jerry?
Yes.
And your feeling, Dan?
Yeah, I think that's a good.
And I vote yes. Now, so it passes, that it will be continued until the January 9th meeting. Now, as a matter of concern, there will be no hearing on January 9th unless real estate taxes are brought up to date. All right?
I'm sorry, well, we didn't, how much are the real estate taxes that are doing, Owen? Can you show us, please?
There are 2 years of recycling bid, and this is a, I'm not sure exactly what it is, it says nothing.
Okay, they're about $600.
So, I mean, you can certainly take that to
Yeah.
the tax collector.
Okay, 250, 300, 550 bucks. Okay. Yeah.
That's, is that their letter, or can I have that? Or does that have to come back with?
Thank you.
Want a copy?
Oh,
I can
I'm
try and
sorry.
make a copy.
Can we- Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Mr.
We'll
Chairman.
continue till
Merry
the-
Christmas.
Thank you. And Pat's better be winning here. Big.
They are winning.
All right, what's the
Yes.
score?
That's good. 0-2. Right now.
What?
I'm good, they got a
What is it?
They got a safety? The defense got a safety?
And we missed it. Don't say
What are they winning by? By 2 points?
2-0.
I know, right?
Well, we're not missing much.
It's all defense for the first quarter, I mean, it's all stuff.
All right, well, I hope that makes everyone happy. Okay, do we have anything else? We all good? We have a motion to adjourn?
Bert?
Yes,
I
sir.
don't know if Terry talked with you about my question,
Regarding
the,
me?
Bird Street case. Because as far, what she had told me was, I'm not getting the strategy of this is just logistics for us, is that she wasn't aware that any of the ZBA's contacted council in terms of defending.